So you're thinking about moving to the Northville, Novi area and you want to know about the major differences. Many people moving to this part of town don't really know the major differences between Northville and Novi. A lot of times they've heard good things about the area. So in this video, we want to chat a little bit about the geography, things to do, the downtown areas, cost of living, and a little bit about the real estate so you have a better understanding of the major differences between Northville and Novi, Michigan. And we're going to do all of that starting right now. So you're thinking about moving to Northville or Novi, Michigan. In this video, we're going to cover all the major differences between Northville and Novi, Michigan. My name is Matt Talbot. My team and I help people just like you every single day move here to the great state of Michigan. We get calls, texts, and emails every single day of people that want more information on the area. They're thinking about moving here. They want a little bit more on the real estate market. So if that's you, feel free to comment below or find us online, listingmi.com, or anywhere you see us. Also on our YouTube page, there's a Calendly link where you can schedule a consultation. It's all automated. Go ahead and set up a consultation, be with me or my team. We're happy to help you out. If you're thinking about moving to the area and this video provides value to you, if you want more information and videos just like this, please hit subscribe or tap for notifications and you will receive all the notifications for more videos of Southeast Michigan, Detroit, Metro Detroit, and all things real estate here. So to start out, I wanted to chat a little bit about the geography itself between Northville and Novi. So Northville and Novi are on the 275 corridor, which means they're about halfway between Ann Arbor and Detroit. Again, why it's a very popular area. We have lots of videos talking about the expressways that bring you in and out of the city, the different locations, but one of the reasons why this area is so popular is because of its physical location. So they're actually stacked right on top of each other. Northville is a little bit south and Novi is a little bit north. Northville itself has a city and township, so it stretches from Napier Road on the west side to Haggerty Road on the east side, and then it starts at 5 Mile Road and goes all the way to 8 Mile Road. Other side of 8 Mile becomes Novi, as well as Oakland County in many areas, okay? So you have Wayne County and Oakland County, so that's one difference in the geography, but Northville and Novi are kind of stacked on top of each other. So again, Northville goes from 5 Mile to 8 Mile, and Novi goes from 8 Mile to 12 Mile just north of that in a very similar width as well too. So you're really going from, 275 all the way out to about Napier Road. Well, it's really Haggerty and Napier Road in Northville, and Novi is going to be stacked just on top of that. To give you the major differences, so again, because one's a little bit more north and one's a little bit more south, if you're living in Northville, most parts of Northville are going to be a hair closer to the airport, maybe 5-10 minutes closer to the airport, depending on the way you get to work and where you're working in the city or in Ann Arbor. Northville can be a little bit closer to the city of Detroit too. So a lot of people want to live in the suburbs. They want a great suburbs. Both Northville and Novi are fantastic opportunities, which is why you're tuning into this video. And in Northville, a lot of times you're a little bit closer to 275 and then can jump on 96, which takes you right to the city. I have another video out there that talks about the different expressways that go in and out of the city of Detroit, so you can kind of get a feel for the best way to commute into the city. Just the opposite of that is Novi, since they're a little bit more north, that will take you east and west. So if you're working in Troy or Auburn Hills or Rochester or potentially the Woodward corridor, sometimes Novi might be a couple minutes closer for you because you're a little bit north and you can jump on 696 right there. Something to consider when you're moving to Southeast Michigan is everything's sort of a spoke. I've talked about this in other videos, but Detroit was the epicenter of Southeast Michigan, right? And so through the years, all the major streets and expressways kind of start from Detroit and then shoot out in a spoke. And since there's the river right there, you don't have really South Detroit. It's basically only has one border because the other side of the border is Canada.
Sea Arctic activities are abundant, astonishing, astounding, and A1 on all accounts.
If you think about sort of the development through the years, Northville, Novi, and then going a little bit west will be South Lyon and Lyon Township. So the development, so newer construction is going to be a little bit more west more often than not in this part of town. Some areas it's more north because it's a spoke, right? So you kind of see where homes were developed through the years. You can kind of determine where your new construction is going to be in any given area. Next on our list is downtown. So there is a pretty major differences in the downtown areas between Northville and Novi. So Northville, the city itself, was actually dates back to the late 1800s. So 1867 it became a city. So it's a really, really old city, which means it has that downtown old school feel, okay? A lot of Victorian homes and historic homes in downtown Northville. There's a horse racetrack currently there. That one might be moving to Plymouth, but that's kind of a historic thing in Northville. It's been there for a very, very long time, but the city has been there for a long time. So if you like your Victorian homes, or if you want to be in a walkable, cute, old school town, you know, that small town feel, Northville has more of that compared to Novi. Novi through the years has pushed for a downtown area, and it sort of has one. So Novi Road and Grand River, there's a lot of development in there. They actually even put a main street in there, so there's some different shops and restaurants and a lot of stuff kind of going. It's a busy intersection. And then it actually, if you go a little bit north down Novi Road, you cross 96 and you'll be at 12 Oaks Mall. So 12 Oaks Mall is almost like Novi's downtown area. So there's a couple square miles in there that would almost be considered downtown Novi, except for not exactly what you think about a downtown area like you'll receive in Northville, okay? But downtown Novi, so to speak, or that Novi Road between, it's really between Grand River all the way through 12 Mile. There's a lot of different things happening in there, a lot of restaurants, all your shopping, there's Imagine Theater, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. So you have this really different kind of feel. One's the city itself, and downtown Northville is just that. It's an old school downtown area, and Novi is a lot newer development, so it's not exactly like walkable stuff you're driving in and out of places, but it does have a lot to do in that general conglomerate area that I just mentioned. So Northville, what I decided to do instead of focusing on the city versus the township in Northville, I looked at all of Northville schools, which if you do your research online, Northville schools are a very, very top ranked school year in and year out. So I looked at all of Northville schools to kind of give me Northville as a whole. Occasionally you could be in a surrounding community and have Northville schools. So there's South Lyon or Salem Township potentially with Northville schools rolled in there. But as a whole, if you look at all of Northville schools, the average price point of single family homes, taking condos out of the situation, is $675,000. So $675,000 for your average price point of homes in Northville schools. The average days on market for those homes as an aggregate as a whole are 20 days. So on average, the entire market is selling less than 3 weeks. That's currently here right now in 2023. So that's the current stats. But that being said, it's obviously been a hot market. There's not a lot of inventory, but still on average as a whole, $675,000 average price point and selling pretty darn fast in 3 weeks or less. So it's a very, very competitive market for that reason. On average, single family homes are going for $236 a foot in Northville schools, which is fairly up there as an average. Okay, a lot of areas you're not going to see averaging well over $200 a foot like you are currently in Northville schools. So that shows a lot about the real estate market in Northville. There was over 300 sales last year in Northville, and the highest went all the way up to 3.9 million. There's actually bigger high-end real estate listed right now in Northville that gets more expensive than that, hasn't sold yet. So I mean, the average 675 all the way up to 4 million for Southeast Michigan. It is definitely a very high-end area here in Northville. Novi's not drastically different, okay? The average price point's a little bit less at $520,000, and the days on market is also less. So it's a little bit less expensive than Northville. Novi is at $520,000, and the average days on market are 16 compared to 20, so they're selling a little bit faster. I think the reason why the days on market are a little bit less in Novi compared to Northville is because there's more homes. There's a lot more inventory. There's a lot of different varieties. So there's some really, really high-end homes in Novi as well too, but the average price point is quite a bit less than Northville. So if you look at Novi schools compared to Northville schools, the average price point drops down to $520. Again, still a good price point. You're gonna get beautiful homes throughout Northville and Novi, just a little bit difference in flavor if you're comparing Northville schools compared to Novi schools. Last on my list for real estate are my two favorite subs. So I wanted to pick one for Northville and one for Novi, and I picked two of the more high-end neighborhoods for sure, but one of my favorite subs in Southeast Michigan, it's an awesome sub. You can check out our other video on it, is the Bellagio Estates in Northville. So it's very confusing because of where the border is. However, Bellagio is in Novi City technically. It's in Northville mailing in Northville schools in Oakland County. So here in Southeast Michigan, the county, the schools, the city, the mailing, that all matters for your taxes and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm counting Bellagio as a Northville mailing as it is, and it's Northville schools and my favorite subdivision in Northville. It has some high-end homes that get all the way up to I think 6,000-7,000 square feet, so they're their big estates in there. It's a gated community. Almost all the homes in there have pools. It's a great community. I love that. I've always been a huge fan of that subdivision. They're spread out nice. The homes are beautiful. They did a great job over there. So that's my favorite one in Northville. If I shoot over to Novi, you go a little bit north and a little bit west out to Island Lakes, which is my favorite Novi community. So it's just that there's Island Lake and there's a whole community built around it. Some of the homes actually sit on the lake. It's an all sports lake, the only all sports lake in the Northville Novi area. There's also a nice clubhouse there. They have a workout facility. It's a community within the community, okay? So it's on the west side of Novi, almost out to South Lyon area, so it's a little bit, you know, off the beaten path, so to speak, but Island Lakes is a beautiful community. Some of the real estate's real high end on the lake itself. There's even a ton of condos there as well too that have a lot of first floor owner suites and stuff like that, so sometimes mom and dad maybe live in the condos, then you have a house down the way, but it's truly a community within the community. It's right by CC High School, Catholic Central High School, so a lot of people that want to send their kids to private schools locally, that's a good community for them, and it still is Novi school. So even though it's on the west side of Novi, it's not quite South Lyon schools, it's aligned to Novi schools. So last on our list are things to do in Northville compared to Novi. So the number one difference in Northville compared to Novi, like I said, is Northville has that small town downtown area. So you have shops and restaurants and bars and all that walkable distance stuff. In the summer, there's different festivals, there's music down there. You kind of walk around and do your local strolling and shopping and stuff like that. There's hair salons and all that great stuff right in downtown Northville. Pools, you can get a greasy cheeseburger. There's a good Italian place over there as well too. There's a lot of good eats and stuff like that in downtown Northville. Outside of downtown Northville, there's some other good features throughout Northville itself in the township. Northville Hills Golf Club is a great golf course. It is a semi-private course, so you don't have to be a member there. And then Meadowbrook Country Club is one of the most well-known. I'm a big golfer, so that's why I'm into this stuff, but Meadowbrook Country Club is one of the most well-known country clubs around. That's at 8 Mile and Haggerty in the township as well too. That is an all-private course, but a lot of people locally belong to Meadowbrook, and so it's a great course. It's a complete golfer's golf course. It's a link styles course. There's a country club in the pool and all that stuff as well. So those are some things to do in the township compared to Novi. So Novi, like I was saying, Detroit being a spoke and stuff like that, Novi was developed a little bit later, okay? And so the downtown area, or where most of the things are happening, like I said earlier, at Novi Road, really between Grand River and 12 Mile, there's a few different locations there. Right at Novi and Grand River, there's a bunch of different restaurants and shopping and all that stuff. And if you jump across the expressway right there, only about a half a mile, you have 12 Oaks Mall, and that's surrounded by a lot of different great things. One important place to consider if you're looking for things to do in the Novi area is Fountain Walk. So Fountain Walk was developed, I don't know, I was a kid when they put all that in there, but there's an Imagine Theater to go see movies. There's this place called The Hub, which has, you know, your axe throwing and foaling. I don't know if you guys are familiar with foaling, but here in Michigan, it's kind of a big thing. You throw a football at bowling pins, which is kind of a unique thing, but it's kind of one of those event centers where you can do a lot of different stuff over there at Fountain Walk. Also at Fountain Walk, you have whirly ball and putt-putt and all that stuff. So Novi is just a different feel. For the most part, you can drive to Fountain Walk and walk around, but for the most part, you're kind of driving location to location in Novi, rather than downtown Northville is sort of that old school walkable distance stuff. So, you know, there's different strokes for different folks, as they say, depending on what you're looking for, depending on where you're moving from, and that flavor of house and walkable distance and all that stuff could sort of determine whether Northville or Novi is the best fit for you, and, you know, giving you some of those differences. So that is it for today's video. If you'd like more information on Northville, Novi, the differences, any real estate that's listed, if you have any questions on the market, feel free to reach out and contact us at any time. Comment below. Again, please hit subscribe and tap for notifications if this video created any value to you. Also, if there's another area, another location, something else that you guys want to dive into that you'd like reviewed by myself and local people here in Southeast Michigan, let us know in the comments. We'll be sure to honor that and give you some more feedback.